What if the biggest lie you were ever told about money wasn't about getting rich, but about which system actually works? Because for decades, people have been trained to argue capitalism versus socialism like it's a football match. One side cheering markets and billionaires, the other demanding equality and state control. Yet somehow, no matter who wins the argument, most people still feel poorer, more stressed, more indebted, more replaceable than ever before. And this is Finance TED Official, where we don't just repeat what textbooks say, we expose how money systems really shape your life, because the truth is uncomfortable. Capitalism didn't win because it was fair. Socialism didn't fail because people were lazy. And the real story lives in the hidden mechanics of power, incentives, and control. So let's rewind to where it all began. Before stock markets, before welfare states, before billionaires became celebrities, back when survival itself was the economy, early capitalism didn't emerge as freedom. It emerged as efficiency. Factories replaced farms, machines replaced hands, time replaced seasons, and suddenly human life could be measured in hours, wages, and output. Productivity exploded, cities grew, and wealth accumulated faster than at any point in human history. But here's the first reveal most people miss. Capitalism was never designed to make everyone wealthy. It was designed to maximize production. And when production increases faster than fairness, inequality becomes a feature, not a bug. Workers sold their labor because they had no alternative. Capital owners reinvested profits because the system rewarded scale. Governments protected markets because markets created growth. But growth didn't mean security, it meant volatility. Boom and bust cycles, layoffs, poverty, and child labor. And when people reached a breaking point, socialism didn't appear as an abstract theory. It appeared as a scream, a demand that work should not equal suffering, that food, shelter, and dignity shouldn't disappear just because markets crash. Socialism promised stability, shared ownership, and protection from exploitation. For a moment, it felt like the moral counterweight capitalism needed. And here's the second reveal. Socialism actually worked in specific ways. Public education created mass literacy. Public health care saved millions of lives, social safety nets reduced crime and desperation, and planned industrialization turned poor agrarian societies into modern nations at breathtaking speed. But then scale entered the picture, and scale changed everything. Because once the state controlled production, distribution, and currency, incentives shifted. Innovation slowed, corruption grew, and power concentrated in a new elite class. Not capitalists this time, but political gatekeepers. Money didn't disappear, it just lost transparency. And when transparency disappears, accountability follows, which leads to the third reveal. The problem wasn't capitalism or socialism, it was unchecked power. Capitalism concentrates wealth, socialism concentrates authority, and both attract people who want control without consequences. And while citizens argued ideology, elites adapted. The United States didn't abandon capitalism when it failed. It patched it with socialist tools, social security, minimum wage laws, public infrastructure, unemployment benefits, bailouts, stimulus checks, and student loans are not free markets. They are emergency brakes, and socialist countries didn't abandon socialism when it collapsed. They patched it with capitalist tools, private businesses, performance incentives, foreign investment, and profit motives. Which means the systems people argue about don't exist in pure form anymore. You are living inside a hybrid, a carefully balanced machine designed to extract productivity while preventing rebellion. And this is where money psychology enters, because modern control isn't enforced by soldiers, it's enforced by debt. Debt is the most powerful non-violent weapon ever created, because it steals future time. Consumer debt keeps people working jobs they hate. Student debt delays family formation. Government debt justifies austerity and inflation. And corporate debt forces endless growth. And here's a pattern interrupt most people never notice. Inflation punishes savers and rewards borrowers, which means the system quietly transfers wealth upward from people who store value in cash to people who store value in assets. Housing, stocks, businesses, and land. Capitalism rewards ownership, socialism promises protection. But neither protects ignorance, and this is where Finance TED Official exists. Because once you understand the mechanics, the emotional fog lifts. Elites don't care whether a system is capitalist or socialist. They care whether it allows leverage. They privatize profits during booms and socialize losses during crashes. Banks get rescued, corporations get subsidies, and ordinary people get told to budget better. The middle class absorbs the shock through higher prices, higher taxes, and lower purchasing power, which creates a strange modern paradox. People work harder than ever, produce more than ever, yet feel poorer than previous generations. And this isn't accidental, it's structural. Because systems optimize for stability at the top, not comfort at the bottom. And here's another reveal. Freedom in capitalism is conditional. You're free as long as you can pay, and security in socialism is conditional. You're safe as long as you comply. Both systems trade one form of dependence for another, which is why the most successful countries quietly mix both. Strong markets paired with strong institutions. Competition paired with protection, but even that balance is fragile, because power drifts, money influences policy, and technology amplifies control. Algorithms decide creditworthiness. Surveillance replaces trust, automation replaces labor. And the question shifts from capitalism versus socialism to something more unsettling: who owns the future? Because if work becomes optional and resources become centralized, the system that follows won't care about old labels. It will care about data, access, and compliance. And the people least prepared will be those still arguing yesterday's debates. So what does all this mean for you? Not as a theory, but as a life strategy. It means understanding that no system will save you by default, but every system leaves cracks for those who understand it. Skills that compound, assets that produce, networks that outlast jobs, and literacy that turns confusion into clarity. Capitalism rewards speed and risk. Socialism cushions failure. But knowledge creates leverage in both. And leverage is the closest thing to freedom humans have ever achieved. And here's the final cliffhanger. If the next global system blends markets, welfare, surveillance, automation, and digital money into one seamless structure, will it feel like progress or control? And when it arrives, will you recognize the rules? Or will you only feel the pressure? Because once you understand how capitalism and socialism actually worked, you stop asking which one won and start asking the only question that matters. How do I position myself so I don't lose? And if this makes you see money, power, and work differently, subscribe to Finance TED Official. Because understanding the system is the first step to beating it. And the next chapter is already being written, with or without you.